Hey everybody. We'll just do a quick audio test. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if the audio is working well. Also, let me know if the visuals are good and we're streaming in 1080p, and if that's the case, we will kick this thing off here in just a moment. Alright, it looks like the audio is working, so we will go ahead and get started. Well, good evening everybody and welcome back to Walks and Wall Street. Today is Sunday, November 19th, 2023, and I want to welcome all of you to Central Park South, more specifically 59th Street and 5th Avenue. We are currently reporting live directly across the street from the beautiful Plaza Hotel. To my right, we have the flagship Apple Store, which is open 24/7, 365. And then one of my favorite buildings in all of New York City, the Sherry Netherland. Now, it is extremely windy tonight here in New York City, so we'll do the best we can to avoid that. If you look at the trees in the distance here, you can see them all blowing around in the breeze. So I do apologize if we do have any wind noise in the microphone tonight. But this is the Markets a Look Ahead live stream for those of you who are new to Walks and Wall Street. On Sundays, essentially what we do during the live stream is we go day by day, Monday through Friday, breaking down all of the major events that are going to be taking place throughout the week ahead on Wall Street. Now, it's going to be a pretty busy week, but it's also going to be quite a relaxed week, and we're going to talk about why. Now, the biggest breaking news, obviously, is it's Thanksgiving week. So Thursday, the markets will be closed. Both the equity market and the fixed income market will be closed on Thursday because it is Thanksgiving. So wishing everybody here a wonderful Thanksgiving week, to you and your family. But before we get into, all of the different economic data that is going to be coming out, talk about the companies that are going to be reporting earnings, I think it's important to quickly do a review of what has gone on so far throughout earnings season. Because we're approaching the end of earnings season, everybody, and next week we are going to have the final company in the Magnificent Seven. Oh my gosh, the wind is crazy. Sorry, my computer is actually blowing away in the wind. That's wild. So out of all the companies so far who have reported earnings, there's been about 469 companies so far in the S&P 500 that have reported, which is almost all of them, right? We're coming to the end of earnings season, we're coming to the conclusion. And there's been a lot of pessimism. There's been a lot of pessimism from the financial media. There's been a lot of pessimism from not only the institutional side, but also the retail side and the consumer side. So I think it's important to do a quick review of how some of these companies have reported. So out of the 469 companies who reported earnings so far, 80% of those 469 companies have beat earnings expectations. Now, S&P 500 companies, right, that have reported earnings, out of all of them, they've averaged about a 7.1% beat above expectations, right, in aggregate, so accounting for all of them. The long-term average of earnings beats for companies in the S&P 500 have been about 4.1%. So we're well above average. And this is the best year for earnings and earnings beats since 2021, when we were in the heart of massive amounts of fiscal and monetary stimulus. So I believe it's important to keep things in perspective here. Again, 80% of companies in the S&P so far have beat earnings expectations. Now, earnings in and of itself is a lagging economic indicator. I think that's important for everybody to understand. I'll say that one more time. Earnings in and of themselves, so quarterly earnings reports, are lagging economic indicators. Now, why is that? Well, when a company reports earnings, that's financial results that happened 3 months ago, right? The previous quarter. The leading economic indicator can be found in the forward-looking statements. And this earnings season in particular, there's been a lot of pessimism and I feel a lot of restraint from corporate CEOs, the C-suite, particularly from companies in the S&P 500, because things are quite unpredictable, right? We have some of the worst geopolitical environment that we've seen in a really long time. We have 2 major wars now that are going on, one in Eastern Europe and now one in the Middle East. And interest rates are at some of the highest levels they've been in over a decade. So there's 2 things we could take away from this. Number one is that with all of those negative factors and all of the adversity, companies still reported very, very good quarterly results. But number 2, right, as investors, we want to look forward. We want to look to the future. And generally speaking, and we're going to go through some of these companies tonight that have given their forward-looking statements, a lot of them are holding back, I think, and a lot of them are quite restrained. So we'll keep that in mind. Futures did just open, so we'll take a quick peek at futures, and then we're going to go in the Apple Store because I'm getting rocked with the wind here. Futures just opened. The S&P 500 E-mini futures is down about 4 points, so pretty much flat, trading at 4,500. If we go over to the NASDAQ 100, the very tech-heavy high beta indice, we're down about 36 points, trading at 15,859. And then if we look at ticker symbol YM, which is the Dow 30, we're down about 15 points, trading at 34,997. Lastly, we'll take a look at some commodities. We'll look at crude oil futures. Getting a little bit of rally in crude oil, trading at $76 a barrel, but still trading below the 50-day and 200-day moving averages on crude. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close up the laptop here, everybody. And I will say hello to everybody in the chat. And we will get out of the wind, hopefully, and get started. Now, one quick announcement. Thursday is Thanksgiving, so we will not be sending out the newsletter on Thursday. We will be sending the Behind the Street newsletter to all of our Walks on Wall Street subscribers on Friday. Okay, so please check your email this Friday, and if you have not signed up for our free financial newsletter yet, you could do so by scanning the QR code on your screen, punching in your email, or typing !news, N-E-W-S, in the chat, and the Nightbot will drop the link to our Substack where you can sign up for free. Now, again, every other Thursday we send out our free equity research piece, but since it's Thanksgiving, we will be pushing that back to Friday. So allow me one moment, and let's get out of the wind here, guys. This is a little bit crazy. All right, good to see everybody. We are now outside of the GM building here. We're sitting right across the street from the beautiful Plaza Hotel. Absolutely stunning. But as you all know, my favorite building along Central Park South is here. You would know that one of the things I love the most about the Sherry Netherland is the story of Jesse Livermore, arguably one of the greatest stock traders of all time. After he would go trade stocks down on Wall Street, in the day they used to call them the bucket shops, right? The discount brokers and all the, kind of sketchy broker dealers down on Wall Street. We would call them bucket shops. He would come and have a drink in the bar right here at the Sherry Netherland, which is great to look at. We'll check out some of the Christmas lights. This is the Christian Dior store. It's lit up beautiful. Now, for those of you who joined our live stream yesterday, I think we had a really nice walk down Fifth Avenue. We got to see all of the holiday decorations, the Christmas lights being put up, and I think we caught the first ever holiday light display outside of Saks Fifth Avenue. So if you want to check that out, check out yesterday's live stream. It was really beautiful. Maybe we'll have some time to go down there and check it out again today. But now that we're out of the wind here a little bit, let me go say hello to everybody, because that's the most important part of the stream. I see Jen Claus, Robert is here, what's up? Gary Carpenter, Austin City Limits, British Grey, Lathe, Colton Manning is here, what's up? Picard 2005, Sunshine After Rain, thanks for joining us. Alan is here, welcome. Mort Davis, Stephen Bate, 456 is here. I did hear about that in Argentina. JC, Mr. Bitcoin is here. Mr. G, welcome, good to see you. Alex. All right, let me get the QR code out of the way. And I see Kathy. All right, I got to warm up a teeny bit, so let's actually go inside the Apple Store. We'll take a quick walkabout, and then we will head out. Hey, Crypto Meme is here too. Now, guys, we were talking a lot about commercial real estate in New York City, and how a lot of it has taken a big beating and a major bath. This building right here is 5 East 59th Street. You can see it right here. It is totally vacant, and I believe it is going up for auction. There's about $80 million worth of bad debt on this building, but it's so strategically placed. It's an amazing spot, amazing location right here at 59th Street. And it may sell for less than $25 million, that building, in auction. All right, let's head down into the underworld here. You're going to be able to check out the Apple Store. This is the flagship. Oh, I think they're closing it. They're closing this entrance. We'll go up. We'll go to the other one. Roberts, Tom, what do you think about the OpenAI fiasco? Well, I sort of said my piece on it yesterday a little bit, but I think there's a lot of moving pieces here, and I'm going to wait 2 weeks in order to do some really big diligence into what's going on and really make a conclusive decision. So the first 2 weeks I call the fog of war. That's sort of how I describe it. So for those of you who don't know, Sam Altman essentially was ousted as CEO of OpenAI. And nobody really knows what's going on, to be honest. People were saying that there was some nefarious activity going on. I don't know. I think we'll know a lot more in 2 weeks here. But from the stuff I was looking at on Twitter, it seems that everybody just really wants to be first and, say things that, because nobody really knows, right? Particularly the media. All right, let's check out Tim Cook's main office here. And then we'll check out some of these Christmas lights right outside of the Plaza Hotel, which are really nice. Yeah, DC322 says the newly elected Argentine president is an outsider. I don't really know too much about him, but it seems as if there were a lot of people that were extremely happy about it. But again, I'm not too well read up on Argentine politics. I think we have some viewers from Argentina. Maybe they could chime in and give their assessment on if they think it's good or if they think it's bad or whatnot. But this is the main flagship store here on Fifth Avenue. This is open 24/7. And it's one of the highest grossing and highest volume stores in terms of foot traffic and in dollar amounts as well. And think about it. It's Sunday night and it's still pretty busy. I actually just came in here. I had to buy a USB-C. Cable. Yeah, Western Mass Dave's as they're digging into it. Adrian Pommels, what's up? Richard says, hello, bro. Thanks for giving us a tour. Greetings from Costa Rica. This is big week for tourists in the city. Huge week. My estimation is that by Tuesday night, there's really nobody going to be doing any real business activity. People are going to go away starting Tuesday night, and they're going to take the long weekend from Tuesday all the way into Sunday. That's sort of my estimation on it, which is nice. I may do that. It depends. I don't know. Western Mass Dave's, I just read he may be returning. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. He posted something on Twitter today that he had an OpenAI sort of employee guest badge. I don't know. He's a brilliant guy. He started the company from nothing and built it into a multi-billion-dollar company, which is unbelievable. Here, I'll take you guys just all the way to the back, and then I think I will be fully warmed up. I think the most important thing that's going to happen this week, aside from Thanksgiving, is the final company out of the Magnificent Seven, right? So when you think Magnificent Seven, you could think all of the major tech companies, one of which being Apple, that we're walking around their flagship store right now. But NVIDIA is going to be reporting earnings this week, and they have been really much the poster child for this AI revolution. And analysts are expecting about a 300% year-over-year increase in EPS. So imagine if we get a big beat on both the top and the bottom line for NVIDIA. That would be huge for the market and cap off earnings season with a bang. And I think that's the one company that I'm most interested in hearing their forward-looking statements, right? At the beginning of the live stream, we've talked about, earnings. When companies report quarterly earnings, that in and of itself is a lagging economic indicator, right? Because earnings have already happened. They're just simply reporting the numbers of what happened over the last 3 months. I wouldn't say most important, because everything is equally important, but what's very, very important to pay attention to is the forward-looking statements. And this earnings season in particular, in my opinion, and I also want to know what you guys think too, a lot of companies have been very pessimistic and reluctant in giving, I would say, very healthy and upbeat forward guidance. Let's just say that. All right. So we are now leaving the Apple Store here on 5th Avenue. So there's 3 entrances. The one that we came in all the way over there, they have the main one, which is in this big cube here. And then they also have another one on the side. But it's cool, right? What do you guys think? Daniel G. from Buenos Aires, Argentina says, "Hey Tom, election day in Argentina, we have a new president." So Daniel, I'm very interested, and I think the chat is too, because I'm just going to be honest, guys. I don't know anything about politics in Argentina, but what I'm hearing, it's trending on Twitter. I was briefly watching CNN in the office. I know, but we just have it on in the office 24/7. They were talking about it as if this is a monumental thing. So Daniel, any comments on this? Since you live in Argentina, you're probably much more well-informed than just about anybody here. What does this mean? What does this election mean for the country? And in your view, is this good? Is this bad? What is sort of going on in Argentina right now? Oh, this is cool. This is like, they made it in the shape of a present, but it's like pine, like trimmings from a pine tree. It looks good and it smells good too. This is like a big air freshener for 5th Avenue, which is definitely needed. Hey, Marilyn from Murray Hill is here. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us, Marilyn. Welcome to New York City. Alfonso says the new president is pro-dollarization. Could you expand on that a little bit? A lot of people were saying he's a Bitcoiner. Which I get, right? I mean, if we want to talk about, one of the other things I wanted to talk about briefly tonight is just to recap on inflation. Mort says it's a far-right guy that wants to change Argentina for the better. Alfonso says he wants to change Argentina's currency to the US dollar. Wow, really? Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a deep dive. I think this is important. Brendan O'Brien says he wants to replace the peso with the dollar. You know, that wouldn't be half bad of an idea. But I will say this. Just let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I think I've said this to you guys once before, but I have an interesting observation as it relates to sales. And I think this observation will be helpful to a lot of people in the chat, because we do have a lot of sales women and men in the chat. All of my inbound, right? Not all of it. I'd say 70% of my inbound, like people getting back to me, calling me, texting me, happens from 9 o'clock to midnight. I don't know why that is, but I think it's just because people are so busy during the day that when they sit down on the couch or when they're in bed before they go to sleep, that's when they get back to me, and that's sort of when they look for properties, I think. Which kind of makes sense, because anytime I've observed myself looking for an apartment or, you know, looking for a house to buy, I do the vast majority of that diligence from 9 p.m. to midnight, right, when I'm not doing anything else. So I think I'm going to have to figure out like a systematic response for those clients and customers. Look at this. This is the Bergdorf Goodman holiday display. You can get a sense of how crazy the wind is here on Fifth Avenue. This is nuts. This must be like 25-mile-an-hour wind gusts, maybe more. The American flag is literally almost ripping off the hinges there. It's crazy. All right, let me read some more chats. Hey, John Kelly says the new president is also extremely pro-Bitcoin. That I've read. Office Girl says if it's the guy I am thinking of, he seems to be advocating for smaller government, which is always good. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, look, as we talk about inflation in the United States, right, and one of the reasons why the market has had such a positive reaction over the last 2 weeks is because we've been getting much better inflation data than expected. So year over year, inflation in the United States rose about 3.2%, which is still well above the Federal Reserve's mandated target of 2%, right? Now, the Federal Reserve lives by a dual mandate. Number one is price stability, and number two is maximum employment. I'll say that again. The Federal Reserve here in the good old United States of America has a dual mandate. Number one, price stability, and number two, maximum employment. And it's been generally agreed upon at the Federal Reserve from the Fed Chair Jerome Powell and all the Fed presidents that that target is 2% inflation. We're still running hot. We're still running well above that at 3.2%. But, you know, as we're on this topic of Argentina, right, and the election of this new president, many people in the chat have been saying he's, you know, pro-Bitcoin. That's probably for a reason, right? I mean, in the United States, we're almost a little bit spoiled here as we're looking at the beautiful Tiffany building right here on 57th Street and 5th Avenue, because we're complaining about 3.2% inflation year over year. The inflation rate in Argentina per annum is well over 100%. I'll say that again. The inflation rate in Argentina is over 100% a year. So yes, it's bad and it's not acceptable to have inflation be this high in the US. I'm not being an apologist for that. But I think we need to, you know, zoom out and take a global macro approach to say, look, this is you know, nothing compared to some parts of the world. Let's just say that. All right, we'll check out some of these Christmas lights, but I think we're gonna start to buffer because this is like a little bit of a buffer zone here. So I won't walk all the way down. But they do this every year. They hang these massive candy canes all along the side of this building, and I think it looks gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful here. I'll go back onto Fifth Avenue and we'll look at the other side because they also have the candy canes lined up across the entire other side, across from the Plaza Hotel, which is nice. But the building, the Tiffany building right here, looks like a Christmas decoration in and of itself with those very bright blue lights. Now, LVMH is one of the most valuable companies or brands in the entire world. And this building that we're looking at now just went under a $500 million renovation. And unfortunately, a fire broke out. Now, the building right across the street, this is the Aman, New York. I'll say that one more time. Aman, New York. A-M-A-N. This building is stunning. They just took all the scaffolding down from the facade. And this is one of the most expensive and luxurious hotels anywhere in the U.S. It's called Aman. I think nightly rates start at $1,100 a night. But it makes sense because you're right here on New York City's Billionaires Row. All right, let me scroll to the top. Yeah, 138% inflation. So, I mean, think about that. JC says Bitcoin equals deflationary. Daniel G says inflation in Argentina is linked to money printing. Agreed. Pretty much all inflation is created by money printing, central banking. I think the Federal Reserve takes a big beating, right? But it's global central banks. It's not just the Fed. It's, man, that wind is killer. But yeah, I mean, you guys are right. You guys are pretty much spot on. Central banks create the inflation, and inflation is, in my eyes, theft. Theft to the saver, theft to the consumer. I call it a silent tax. So the way I look at things is the following. This is a funky window here, Bergdorf. Anything that comes out of my paycheck, I consider it a tax. Any tolls, I just automatically just round it off and consider it a tax. And I think the same thing about inflation. So when the Federal Reserve says they're targeting inflation at 2%, I say, okay, I'm going to be taxed 2% on my life. And what was really egregious is that when inflation peaked in March of 2022, Americans had an annual tax of almost 10%. Inflation topped out at 9.1% here in the United States. So, now, yes, it's true some inflation is good, but not the inflation we have now. Not good at all. Western Mass Dave says, Tom, your dreams of a 65-degree Thanksgiving is toast. I know. It's been getting cold and it's been getting windy. That's the only thing I don't like about New York City during the winter is the wind. For some reason, the wind picks up in the winter, which is horrible. I can't stand it. I don't necessarily mind the cold, it is just the wind. What do you guys think here? I think it's a nice contrast with the candy canes here, as well as the white lights outside of the plaza. I think this looks beautiful. Now, depending on how busy it is in the plaza, maybe we can quickly pop in and take a look at the decorations inside the Plaza Hotel. They always put on an amazing display in there. Yeah, Carl says less government is good. I agree. This is the entrance to the shops at the plaza. This is actually very nice down there. There's restaurants. There's a really good coffee shop down there. They make it really nice. And here is the Steinway Tower. This is the tallest residential building in all of New York and all the world. Hey, Hang with Mark Mom says, good evening, Tom, mods, and chat. Good to see you. We were just talking about the election that took place in Argentina, and we've been getting a lot of good insights from people who live in Argentina. Now, hopefully, I mean, obviously everybody hopes this is going to be for the best and, strengthen the economy in Argentina. Let's make this left, and then we'll see if we could pop you into the lobby very quick. Now, did anybody read Barron's this week? The cover, not the cover story, but the first story when you flip open the paper was very, very well written, and it really hit on a lot of the talking points that we cover all the time, and it was actually quite funny. What they were saying is, yes, it's true that in the United States, headline inflation came in at 3.2%. But if you exclude very volatile food and energy, right, or core inflation, this is an awesome shot here too. Park Avenue and the GM building with these very ominous looking clouds almost. But essentially, I think it's easier to explain it if I just say, if you type !CPI in the chat, you can see all of the individual categories of inflation. Let's see if we can get in here. All right, hold that thought. We're going to do a quick tour of the Plaza Hotel. We'll talk about inflation in a minute. All right, so right as you walk in the Plaza Hotel, everybody, you have this amazing stonework on the floor. You have amazing moldings on the ceiling. And then you have this grand chandelier with a really nice display. What do you guys think? Wow. Look at the chandelier in contrast with the Christmas trees here. That's an amazing shot. If anybody is visiting New York during the holiday season, definitely swing by the Plaza Hotel just so you could check out the lobby. Now, as you continue to walk in the back, this is where you have the restaurant and the bar, which is really stunning. They've decorated it very nice. You see the big roundabout bar in the back. It's stunning. They did an amazing job this year. What are those big red flowers called again? Poinsettias or something? So for some context, right as you walk in, that big revolving door, right off to your left is going to be the main hotel lobby. And then as you walk in, you're going to have the main entrance to the lounge, as well as the restaurant and bar. I mean, these hallways are just absolutely stunning. Everything is totally encased in marble with these beautiful crown moldings. It looks awesome. And then again, remember everybody, off to the right, you have the residences at the plaza. So people live here, and they also rent apartments here too. So that is the lobby if you were to live in the Plaza Hotel. Oh, no way, look at this. Remember I was recommending you guys this brand, P-Niter? This is the brand that I have. They make some of the best briefcases ever. Now they're a bit expensive, but you'll have them forever. I've had mine. Well, my first briefcase I've had since I was just entering the working world, and I just bought mine, which I'm sure I'll have for 20 years, please God. But that's a really nice Italian brand. 1774 it was created. All right, let's head back out into the lobby, and we'll take one more look at the Christmas display. So once again, that's the bar. They did a really good job this year. Last year they had a slightly smaller display, but it looks great. All right, let's head out. All right, now question for the team here. What did you think of the display? Do you think it's better than last year's? What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down? We'll go by the residences just so you can kind of get a perspective of what the residence side looks like. Stephanie says it's great. Looks like everybody likes it. I like it too. It's a very classy hotel. I kind of like that architecture better, particularly the inside. Now, some of the other hotels like the Park Hyatt, very nice. It's inside 157, but it's more modern, right? You don't really feel like you're in the classic New York. Hey, at Tiff's, Tom, are you by Red Hook between Wednesday and Friday? So I was there today. We had the open house. It depends on if anybody wants to see the units between them, but I'll let you know. I'll send you a text. And then right across the street you have Central Park. That's amazing. Now, I'm not too sure when they're going to take the scaffolding off the Sherry Netherland, but that's another amazing building too. But this is the residences side. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We usually do these streams every day starting at 8:30, exploring the city, talking about financial markets. Hey, Hawaii, what's up? Hawaii, you just missed, if you rewind the stream, we were able to do an inside tour of the Plaza Hotel, which was exceeded my expectations. Latha wasn't too hot on the chandeliers. Hey, Desi, thank you so much for your $5 donation. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you for being here. All right, let me scroll back. Christian says, hey, Tom, what are your thoughts on the new Penn Station? Love the new Penn Station, and I think it's very much needed. I think it'll revitalize the neighborhood and start to attract businesses. Because as we've talked about, we won't sort of go on that big tangent tonight, but as we've talked about, that particular area in and around Penn is not the best. So I think, by providing that new product, that's going to attract businesses. And when there's businesses there, that means there's revenue there. And when there's revenue there, people aren't going to put up with, the subpar conditions and the crime in and around the neighborhood. So the neighborhood will improve. So I'm very optimistic on it. And we've walked past it multiple times. And I think we could all agree that it looks really good. If you've been in the old Penn Station, right, think, 2020 and earlier. It was very low ceiling heights, very dark, very dingy. But now, they've opened up the entire place. You're going to have lots of retail there. You're going to have lots of restaurants. It's going to be great. So I'm really excited about it. And I think they're already doing a phenomenal job. So I agree. I think it's fantastic, particularly as a Long Islander, right? Now, many New Yorkers who don't have to travel back and forth from the city to Long Island, very seldom do they need to go to Penn Station, so they don't even really notice how bad it was. I love that car. What was that, by the way? Is that a G-Wagon? I think that was a G-Wagon. That thing looked cool. Anyway, but yeah, non-Long Islanders, oftentimes they don't even realize how bad Penn Station was, so it's great. This is an awesome shot of the Steinway Tower, the tallest residential apartment building in the world. And in the backdrop, you have 106 Central Park South, which is my old building, by the way. This is called Trump Park. And this is the best building I've ever lived in, by far, right here on Central Park South. Now also, I'll say the final thing I'll say about that in terms of the new Penn Station is the following. And this is, I believe, what's the most important, right? And this sort of ties into the economy. You really want to make a lasting first impression on the United States and on the city of New York. And Penn Station is oftentimes the first thing that a lot of international travelers see when they come to the United States. Almost by far, that's sometimes the first thing they see in New York City, right? Because if you're taking the train to JFK, you get on the Long Island Railroad, you take it to Jamaica, and then you get on the Or you get on the air train, you take it to Jamaica, and then you take the Long Island Railroad into Penn Station. And then when you get off Penn Station, you see all of the, horrible stuff that we've talked about last night, and that's not a very good first impression. You want to have a crazy first impression of, New York prosperity, New York exceptionalism, so to speak. And I think this new Penn Station does exactly that. Tall ceiling heights, amazing views of the Empire State Building, very modern, very new, and very clean. So I'm very optimistic about it. Real quick, I'll sort of point out some of these buildings. This right here is 15 Central Park West. It's nicknamed the Limestone Building. And right to the left of it is 1 Central Park West, which is the Trump International Hotel and Tower. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but in the Plaza Hotel, Trump once owned the Plaza Hotel. Now, the address of the Plaza is 1 Central Park South. So, amazing addresses to own. 1 Central Park West and 1 Central Park South. Very iconic addresses. But the two very tall skyscrapers sticking up at Columbus Circle are now the Deutsche Bank Towers. Now, Deutsche Bank is a very large German investment bank, and they vacated their original location on 60 Wall Street, and now they are up here. Hey, Dan Sang is here. Says, hey Tom, I survived the Queen's Marathon today. Although I could bear... Oh, cool. Dan, well, congratulations. That's a major accomplishment, running a marathon, so congrats to Dan Sang on your huge accomplishment. That's awesome. Now, was it windy? Because it's crazy windy in the city. That's the worst when you're running in the wind. It's horrible. So hopefully it wasn't too windy over there. Carl says Billionaires Row is overrated in my opinion. Maybe. But Carl, I will say this. I'll say one thing. So a friend of mine, and someone that does a lot of business with our team, he's almost one of the top real estate brokers, not only in New York City, but in the entire world. Noble Black. He's one of the top brokers at Douglas Elliman. Unbelievably talented guy, super sharp, and he landed an amazing listing. Just an amazing, amazing listing at 157, the entire 83rd floor. And I attended the broker open house. It was a big event. They had food, they had everything, music. It was just a stunning event in this building right here, all the way at the top of the 83rd floor, 6,500 square feet with unobstructed views of Central Park. You could see all the way down to not only the Chrysler Building, 1 Vanderbilt, the Empire State Building, all the way to the World Trade Center. When you are actually in that unit in person and you're looking out over Central Park, you could see all the way to the George Washington Bridge. You could see Connecticut. It's like, I would say this, any video that you've watched of like a property tour of those particular properties doesn't even do it justice by a fraction. Trust me. So when you get up there, and we'll sort of walk over here so you can see it, this building on the 83rd floor, when people say breathtaking, I think it's a very overused word, but it's the appropriate descriptive term to describe the view overlooking Central Park from the 83rd floor. Now, here's the crazy thing. The apartment went on the market, and in less than 2 weeks, it's already under contract. Insane. If you want to check it out, if you want to see exactly the listing that I'm talking about, if you go to StreetEasy, just type in 157 West 57th Street. Again, 157 West 57th Street, and it's Unit 83. You can see all the photos, all the videos, and fingers crossed, hopefully it'll close soon, but it did just go under contract in less than 2 weeks. So quality product is moving. Quality product is moving in the city, for sure. Carl says it seems cheaply made for the outrageous price. Carl, I got to get you in there, dude. Hey, Carl, if you ever come to New York, shoot me an email. And if I ever have a listing there, or if I have a friend who has a listing on Billionaires Row, I'll give you a preview. And I think you're going to change your mind. I don't know. I think you'll change your mind once you're up there. But I get it. Some people like the older style architecture. And that's actually my preference, by the way. I like Central Park South, kind of like JW Marriott, Essex House. I like the Upper West Side and then in the original brownstones. That's kind of my style too, but I definitely understand what you're talking about for sure. All right, well, speaking of Billionaires Row, this is one of the original firehouses here on Billionaires Row. 23 Engine 23. Now it's right next to 220 Central Park South. So you can rest assured that you will be feeling safe if you live in 220 Central Park South or this monstrosity right here, which is Central Park Tower. This is... Now for those, I know we have a lot of new people here, so I'll quickly just explain these two particular buildings. So this one that we're looking at is 157. Now the developer is Extel, okay? EXTELL, Extel. And this building that we're looking at is the first building ever constructed on New York City's Billionaires Row, completed in 2014. Kicked off the trend of Billionaires Row. Now, if you go a little bit further down the street, this massive building is Central Park Tower, and it is the same developer, Gary Burnett and Extel. And in my view, right, there's a lot of debate about which building is the best building on Billionaires Row. I think my favorite two are 157, and it's probably a tie between the Steinway Tower and Central Park Tower. Now, Steinway Tower is the skinniest building, I would say the skinniest residential building in the world, and it sits 111 West 57th Street. Here, I'll sort of cross, and there's a Nordstrom right inside Central Park Tower too, right here. But this right here, 220 Central Park South, was developed by Vornado, so Steve Roth. Vornado is a publicly traded company. But there's a very, very famous hedge fund manager that actually just came out this past week and made some very bold predictions about the state of the financial industry in New York City. Citadel's Ken Griffin made a claim that he is forecasting that there's a possibility that the new financial capital in the United States could potentially be in South Florida, thinking about Palm Beach and Miami. Now, Citadel Securities just recently overtook Ray Dalio's Bridgewater Associates, which is based in Connecticut, as the #1 hedge fund. Now, both run very different strategies. When I think about Bridgewater Associates, I think global macro, and when I think Citadel, the first thing that comes into your mind is quantitative research, quantitative analysis, right? So we'll see if he's right. I don't know. I think it's going to be hard, but competition is healthy, and I think it benefits the U.S. in general. So I'm all for it. So this is West 58th Street, and you're looking uptown at the Trump International Hotel and Tower. Size to Citadel is high frequency and ARB. Yeah, they definitely run a lot of different strategies for sure. But yes, you could think about them as a quant firm. You're 100% right. Renaissance Technologies is also another very successful quant fund. And D.E. Shaw, too, David E. Shaw, which a lot of people don't know this, but Jeff Bezos, his first job out of college was right here in New York City. He was an analyst at D.E. Shaw & Co. And I always tell this story, but I think it's appropriate. I'll just quickly tell it again. So Jeff Bezos was working at D.E. Shaw. He was making a lot of money. He was doing very well for himself in New York, working at a hedge fund. Let's wait till this truck. Now that is one thing about Billionaires Row, everybody. It is on 57th Street, which is a very busy and trafficked street. So there is a lot of street noise. So unless you're living extremely high up in the sky, you're probably going to get a lot of street noise in the city living on Billionaires Row. So, but Jeff Bezos had the idea of Amazon. So what he did is he had asked David Shaw to go on a walk with him in Central Park. That's the founder of the hedge fund. And he's like, you know what? I have this idea and I want to sell books on the internet. I really, really want to sell books on the internet. I want to call it Amazon. And David was like, you know, Jeff, that sounds like a really good idea for somebody that doesn't already have a really good job. Those were his words. Which makes sense, and I actually think that's pretty good advice, because if you think about it, Jeff Bezos was in his 20s and, you know, working there, you know, as the company was young. He was quite possibly making, you know, very, very high six figures as a 20-year-old kid. But I'm very thankful that entrepreneurs have that grit, right? Because a few days later, he's like, you know what? I thought about it. And he's like, even though I'm making all this money working at this hedge fund, if I look back on my career when I'm 80 years old, I think I'm going to regret the things that I didn't do or the things that I didn't try. And I think that's so true. So yeah, that's how, you know, it came to be. Jeff Bezos started Amazon. So I'm glad he didn't take David Shaw's advice, or else we would have no Amazon, which is good. But that's true. I mean, you know, the vast majority of regrets people have in life is not things that they did, but things that they wish, you know, they were kind of on the fence about. They're like, oh, I wish I started that company. I wish I moved to this city. I wish I did that. It's always the things that you didn't do. So just do a bunch of stuff. Do whatever you want to do. Because when you look back on it, the risks you take never really materialize to be that scary or cataclysmic, particularly if you live in the United States, right? A lot of people are very risk averse here in the US. But if you think about it, you should be risk on all the time if you live in the United States. Because what's the worst that's going to happen? You fail at your business, you fail at that career, and then guess what? You go back and get another job, right? The United States is the land of opportunity. There's so much opportunity here, it's like inundating, particularly if you live in a big city. So if you don't have any kids, if you don't have any responsibilities, you should be risk on all the time. Like, you should be generating ideas 24/7, 365, and taking action on those ideas. Because the worst case scenario is if it doesn't work out, who cares? At least you have learned something from that experience. Now this is Carnegie Hall, and unfortunately, it's still covered in scaffolding. Pretty much like everything else in the city. Even 157 is covered in scaffolding too. Andrew, what's up? This is good evening. Andy is here from South Korea. What's up? Dave says, can't believe that guy is wearing shorts. Nice.
Hey, sorry.
All right, let's head back to 6th Avenue and we'll bang a right and go all the way down. This is Tom. That's always, or that's a great outlook on risk taking. Agreed. Particularly if you have a good job, right? Like, let's say if you have a job and you're making, I would say in the realm of $65,000 to even $100,000, right? Just to make it much, much more believable. If you live in a big city, chances are you may have an even more lucrative job. But that is now your base, right? That is now your base floor. So if you've proven to the marketplace that you can get a job or a career that pays you an $80,000 salary, that essentially sets the floor in the market. Think about it like making a market in the stock market, right? Now that's your floor. You're very seldom are you going to take anything less than that. So you've proven yourself in the marketplace that you're worth 80 grand, right? That's proven, that's been done, you're worth 80, okay? So if you have an idea or you want to go pursue something else, right? Start a business, start a company, take that leap of faith. Your risk-reward ratio should be calculated based upon going back and making 80 grand a year again, right? If you've proven to yourself and if you've proven to the free market that you're competent enough and capable enough to hold a job that is paying you an $80,000 a year salary, you can replicate that process and do it again should you fail at your other opportunity. So it's almost like, the risk reward on taking an opportunity or taking a chance in America is always going to be in your favor, right? I mean, unless there's something really, really wrong. But what sort of holds a lot of people back from taking those risks is just normal, innate human behavior. Because humans are not programmed to excel at things, right? We're programmed for survival. That's why we've been around so long. So many people have a fear of public speaking. That's why many people choose to sit in the back of the classroom, right, and kind of hide because they don't want the teacher to call on them because they're like, oh my gosh, my heart rate is going up, everybody's looking at me, my voice is really shaky, and that is your body telling you to go hide in a corner and be safe so you can survive. It doesn't want you to thrive. So anytime you encounter one of those scenarios in your life, and I encounter them all the time, right? I'm an extreme introvert. That's a signal automatically for me to attack it, like go after it, put myself in the most uncomfortable situation and force myself to that. So one of my really good friends, Jim, who's actually going to be writing a guest piece in the newsletter. He runs a very, very successful firm here on Wall Street. One of the best pieces of advice he's ever said to me, he's like, the alpha is found in the things you don't want to do. So I'll say that again. The alpha, right? And alpha is a term in finance of outperformance, right? So if the S&P performs 12% that year and then your fund performs 14%, well, you have 2% is the spread, or that is your alpha. You've generated 2% above the indice. So all of the alpha in your life will be found in the things that you don't want to do and that you're very reluctant to doing. And that's so true. That is very, very true. All right, let's cross, and then we'll make our way down to Radio City Music Hall. Now, if you want to check out or read our free financial newsletter, we send it out to all of our Walks on Wall Street subscribers every other Thursday after the market closes. So this Thursday is, guess what? It's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. So there's not going to be a newsletter, but there will be one on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So if you're not signed up to receive it yet, you can go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen and punch in your email. Or you could type !news, NEWS in the chat, and the Nightbot will drop the link to our Substack, and you can read all of our archived research there. So God forbid you miss a stream, you could go back, read the newsletter, or you could just listen to it because I've recorded it on an audio podcast version. And we cover the U.S. equity markets, global capital markets, fixed income, and real estate. Now, coming in 2024, which is in a month, I'm going to be having interviews and guest posts. Very notable names on Wall Street, very successful individuals that are nice enough to give me their time to include some of their research into our newsletter that I will also share with the team. So you definitely don't want to miss that. Hey, Matthew M is here, so just popping in to say hi. Thank you, Matthew M. I appreciate it. Hey, Hang with Mark Moms is extreme introvert, and I force myself out there. No, for sure. Yeah, I am an extreme introvert too, but you you just have to force it. You just got to do it, and then over long periods of time, you'll get more comfortable with things. Who dat Dave? What's up? Elizabeth is here. Welcome, Elizabeth. Hey, Mr. Coleman says, just signed up for the newsletter. Yeah, let me know what you think. I'm trying to become a better writer, trying to become a better communicator. So if you download the Substack app, you'll be able to read all of our archived research. Now, hopefully one day, Substack can allow for downloadable links, particularly Excel sheets, because I don't like Google Sheets. Because I want to share with you, because if you read some of the work, we talk about how we get to some of these valuations for these companies, and I want to share with you those models. I want to share with you the financial models that I've built, and I'll leave them unlocked. So essentially, if you're covering a specific sector, and you don't want to cover the sectors I like, which is fine, everybody covers different sectors. I'm a software and tech guy, it's sort of my background. You can use these DCF models to model the companies that you want to follow. Oh, you know what this is, everybody? This is the flagship Hilton Hotel. And every year, around Thanksgiving, I think the company is called Spirit of America. And that's all the people that are walking in the parade. They stay here at the flagship Hilton. You can see them. They walk around the city with those jackets on that say Spirit of America. Now, these big stands is where they're going to be filming, essentially, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade right here. You can see the big platforms that they are building right outside the Charles Schwab building here. Charles Schwab is my broker-dealer. Joe says you don't like Google Sheets because you have pre-built Excel sheets. No, I just always have worked with Excel. Here we have Charles Schwab. These are the platforms, once again, that they'll have all of the camera work to film well. Hopefully it'll be in the New York office. Maybe you'll be working right here on 59 and Madison Avenue. So peace is Tom. I just transferred Charles Schwab from TD. Carl says, what do you think about the Acorns debit card? I don't even know what that is. I think we were buffering this area yesterday too. All right, let's turn back on Fifth Avenue, because Fifth Avenue we usually don't have any buffering. We'll see. So really quickly, one of the things we talked about at the very beginning of the live stream was we're almost at the very end of earnings season, right? We're pretty much at the conclusion right now. Now, next week, the most anticipated company reporting earnings is NVIDIA, ticker symbol NVDA, NVIDIA. Now, there was about 467 companies so far out of the S&P 500 that is reported. So pretty much almost all of them, right? There's about 501 companies in the S&P 500. And out of the 467 that have reported so far, 80% have beat analyst expectations. I'll say that again. Out of all the companies that have reported so far, which is pretty much almost all of them, 80% have beat expectations. This is in light of much tougher and much harsher monetary conditions. Over the last 3 months, we've had some of the highest interest rates we've had in a decade. Now, they've been coming down a little bit, mainly because of that inflation report coming in better than expected. The market is front-running and essentially pricing in a higher probability of rate cuts in 2024, mainly because the rate hikes are working to bringing inflation back down to that 2% target, right? So I think knowing that and looking forward into the future, 6 months, one of the things that we need to keep in mind is the guidance, right? The forward guidance is sort of the leading economic indicator. And that hasn't been all that good, the forward guidance. But earnings has been really good. Earnings have been great. So if you think about it in terms of valuation, and we're going to write about this in the newsletter, the value of the S&P 500 on a forward PE basis is actually reasonable right now. Is actually reasonable. So a lot of people are saying, well, guess what? In 2021, this is, I think, 270 Park? Yeah. This is Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, by the way. But they're like, you know what? Market was really frothy in 2021. Valuations needed to come down as interest rates went up. So, you know, should the U.S. not fall into a recession in Q1, this market could see new all-time record highs. Yeah. All right, let's cross the street here, and we'll check out. You know, actually, let's check out the light display right here on Fifth Avenue. Michael, that's true. Yes. Schwab did take over TD Ameritrade. Not to be confused. Yes, that's correct. Now this is where we saw that huge light display yesterday. Maybe it'll be on again. Who knows? Maybe we'll have perfect timing yet again. I think it's on, yeah. All right, let's chill out here for a minute, because maybe they'll do the display again. Was anybody here yesterday when we saw this? Hey, Juan Fernandez, this is Tom. What software do you use to look at charts? I do not use Thinkorswim. I use TradingView and Bloomberg. I wish that guy would turn off that music. But I think it looks like a really good display. Let's check out the Cartier building too, because that one always looks good. We'll check out the Cartier building for those of you who didn't see it last night. But yeah, I think what's best for charting, in my opinion, is TradingView. I pay for MarketSmith, but you really don't need to. That's why I don't like talking about MarketSmith a lot, because some people think that they need to pay for, software and things like that. It just makes it a little bit easier for me when I'm trying to identify companies that have great earnings. Because what I used to do is I used to have sec.gov as my default web browser and just scan through like pages and pages and pages of 10Ks and 10Qs. But MarketSmith helps me identify companies already. Like, it'll screen companies that fits the criteria that I look for, right? Growing at 25% CAGR, compounded annualized growth rate, 25% earnings growth, 25% plus return on equity, and then from there I could, analyze and build the models. But you don't need to pay for that. I think it's like $300 a month. You do not need that. It's just more of a thing that kind of helps. But anyway, guys, this is the Cartier store here. Beautiful. Now, right next to it is the Versace store. Well, it's actually not. It was the flagship Versace that is now closed down. And in its place is the temporary Eden Fine Art Gallery. Rents have been getting so crazy here on Fifth Avenue, as you could imagine, that Versace has now moved to Madison Avenue. But what do you guys think of the holiday display on Cartier? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I'll give it a 7.2 out of 10 this year. The best Christmas display Cartier had was in 2021, I believe, when they had this massive Jaguar. I think that's the logo, all lit up on the side. I mean, it's nice, but I don't think it's as good as the one in 2021. But the building does look beautiful. Hey, Danny Morris is here. What's up? Good to see you, Danny. Thanks for joining us. See the Ferragamo. We'll get a tad bit of a closer look. Yeah, Joe's like, I'm kind of confused what the theme is. Well, it says Happy Holidays on it, I guess. Hey, everything in Miami, good to see you. We were just talking about earlier in the stream we were talking about the election in Argentina. They now have a new president that seems to be a Bitcoiner, or at least appears to be. And next week is going to be a big week for NVIDIA, the last company in the Magnificent Seven to report. But this is the Eden Fine Art Gallery. Inside the old Versace. The floor is beautiful. It's unfortunate that they had to relocate to Madison Avenue, but I mean, this was probably going at like over $1,000 a square foot for the retail storefront on Fifth Avenue. What do you guys think? Prime retail on Fifth Ave, I would say over $1,000 a square foot. Now, Here's another thing that I think was a little bit better last year. We'll just quickly point it out. You see all these Christmas trees that look really beautiful here? They used to have like themed displays. Did anybody remember that? There was like a fire engine. There was like Santa's sleigh, snowmen. Now they just have it all classic Christmas trees, which looks good. I'm not complaining. But I think it was a little bit better last year. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Like on each corner down 5th, there was like a themed display. Still looks good with the classic white, but I think last year was a teeny bit better. Since we're here, let's go into the courtyard of the New York Palace again. I think that totally takes the cake and takes the #1 spot. You know what? Hold that thought. I think they're starting to play the thing. We'll be just in time to watch the display. We'll do that, and then we'll hit the New York Palace. At least I thought I heard it. We'll see. I have to put you guys down here anyway because it's getting cold out, so that means the battery dies earlier. And I got to plug in the phone. Okay, let's head over to the New York. Over here. Maybe they're just testing the music. Maybe they're not testing the display. I think they may be just testing the audio. This is cool. Looks like they're building a little bit of a grandstand. Still looks good though. John Orris is called the Carousel of Dreams. They must be using some new LED lights or something because it's so vibrant. I'm not sure how it comes out on the live stream, but in person, it almost kind of looks unreal a little bit. I think the light technology is getting a lot better. Or at least appears to be. Hey, Fahim, what's up? Mike, New York. Good to see you, Mike. Welcome to Rockefeller Center again. RPT says, hey Thomas, what's up? Good to see you, RPT. Yeah, last night we were very lucky to be able to see a test run of this, where I think they did a really good job. All right, let's head a little bit further over to the east side. Now, who's working a full week this week, out of curiosity? Or is the majority of people just probably going to take off, I'd say, starting Tuesday night? That's my guess. I think it's going to be a busy day for me tomorrow and Tuesday. But Tuesday around 4 o'clock, I think it's going to be totally dead. What about you guys? Anybody working right up until Thanksgiving Day? Or are you going to take that long, long weekend? Hey Jonathan, what's up? This is hello, joining late. You're working Monday through Wednesday? Got it. Weekend off Thanksgiving and Friday, love that. Pete NYC is working Monday, Tuesday, office closed Wednesday through Thursday. Very nice. Yeah, I think a lot of people will just take the long weekend, right? They'll probably take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a nice five-day weekend. And then you sort of get into the holiday doldrums where pretty much everybody's out. Hey, Destructionist, what's up? That's a stunning, like, original Vespa. It's amazing. I'd love to buy that and run that around Miami. Yeah, for those of you who are just joining, we took a walk around the inside of the Plaza Hotel today. That thing was really nice. And we're gonna do a double check and see if the New York Palace is open. I think it may be a tad too late. They may have closed it down for the night. but we'll see. You know, right on the corner here where this clothing store, this used to be a Starbucks right here. Right on the corner of 49th Street. If you could believe it, this used to be a Starbucks. I used to go here with clients. It's crazy how things have changed. Hey, Mary says, have a great Thanksgiving. Whoa, Destructionist says you're making homemade wine. How do you do that, by the way? Now, I had a coworker who was obsessed with making homemade beer. And he would bring it into the office and try to make everybody try it. Now, I don't drink, so I got that one easy, but I don't know. I'd be kind of freaked out to try anybody's homemade alcohol, because that's a fermentation process, and God forbid something goes wrong. You know, you're probably not going to be feeling well. But that's cool. Homemade wine. How long does that take? Like, what is the ETA on that? All right, let's see if it's open. Ooh, I think it's closed, unfortunately. But we could take a look from the outside. So this is the New York Palace. Beautiful 5-star hotel right here at 455 Madison Avenue. And look at how beautiful the Christmas display is. Isn't that nice? It's stunning, isn't it? Hey, Theo says I had to rewatch last stream. It was incredible. Yeah, it looks great. I think this is probably the best one in the city. And you're right across the street from St. Patrick's. Now here's the real question. Has anybody started hanging up their Christmas stuff on their houses yet? Or in their apartments? I think I have to do something when I get back to Miami. I get back December 1st. I'll be there until December 10th. So from December 1st to December 10th, I'll be back in Miami. And I think I'm gonna have to do something for the holidays. Yeah, Austin City Limits, a lot of work goes into that, for sure. I didn't get a Christmas tree last year. I think I'll have to get one this year. Mariana, Texas, I have 3 grandchildren to impress. Someone says, no sir, not till after Thanksgiving. Alan says, I put up my tree November 1st. That is the type of energy I want to see. That is the type of energy I want to see. Fantastic. No way. Hang with my... No way. Hang with Mark Mom is like, I always have the Christmas tree up. I never dismantle it. Okay, that's a little overkill. But I'm not going to hate on that. That's unique. Christmas in July, I guess. That's too funny. Mary says my tree was up on Halloween because we had snow. Whoa, where are you that you had snow on Halloween? Michelle Henry says no, I think I have at least one ornament, only because my aunt gave it to me. I don't put up anything, it's just me, and the dog really don't care too much about it. Well, maybe this year you'll make a little bit of a change. Maybe you'll get a little bit of a tree. Who knows? I think I'll probably throw some lights on the palm tree outside. Or I'll put a Santa hat on one of the coconuts. Something festive, who knows? Destructionist is Tom, I never take mine down either. Really? That's so funny. T3 has got to wait till after the turkey. Or after Turkey Day, got it. My company sells stuff, so we have things up in July. Very nice. Elizabeth says I like to take it down January 2nd. Yeah, that's what I don't look forward to, right? After the holidays, after Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, then it's just desolate and dark and gray. And that's when you really need to hunker down for the winter. But so far, we've had decent weather. Knock on wood, 65 degrees. Brad's is the rule. Is you leave the tree up until Elvis's birthday. Solo says, are we gonna be near Penn tonight? Maybe, actually. Let's navigate this maze outside of Jamie Dimon's new office. This is the scaffolding maze here. You know what I wanted to ask? Where did China open? Can anybody quickly find that out for us? Out of curiosity, if you look at the HSI. Hey, Joey Coffee, what's up? Good to see you. Long time no see. Hope everything is well with the family. Joey, we were talking about, there's been about 469 companies in the S&P 500 that have reported earnings so far. 80% of them beat expectations. And next week we have Nvidia, that is the only company left in the Magnificent Seven that is set to report. And analysts are expecting over 250% plus EPS growth. But I'm most looking forward to the forward guidance from Nvidia, because they're really the leader in AI, making the chips to sort of run that. Look at this. This is one Vanderbilt. But if anybody's looking for a very New York-esque Christmas gift, I have a recommendation. Okay, if you guys see Joey Coffee, his username in the chat, this gentleman owns a small business, fully funded and operated coffee shop called Cafe Ame. I believe I pronounced that right. He sent me a huge care package about 1.5 years ago of all types of coffees. They were fantastic. And I'm serious, I'm not just saying that. Very good coffee. So if you type !coffee in the chat, you can check out his website. And if you live in upstate New York, you could actually go visit him at his shop. So if you want to buy your friend's family coffee that's roasted here in the state of New York, you'll be supporting a really good small business. And it's good coffee too, so check it out. It's kind of cool. I mean, the Walks to Wall Street audience is so diverse, right? Small business owners, coffee shop owners, so. Lower Westchester County. So there you go. You can even make a day trip if you want. Check it out. Let's take a little bit of a day trip ourselves inside Grand Central Station to warm up a bit. We'll enter from the 45th Street. They usually have good Christmas decorations here too. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm seeing some comments about the cryptocurrency ETFs. Well, here's the thing. Everybody's really pushing for a spot Bitcoin ETF, right? And it seems as if Gary Gensler and the SEC kind of, at this point, really has a personal vendetta against that. But sort of here's my take on it. I actually don't think it matters as much as what people say. And my explanation for that is as follows. The value proposition for Bitcoin, in my opinion, and I've sort of stated this multiple times, but the value proposition for Bitcoin is that it is truly unconfiscatable money, right? Because Bitcoin in and of itself, it doesn't spit off free cash flow, right? You can't improve the business to improve its operations. So the value of it is a medium of exchange that is unconfiscatable. Nobody could ever confiscate it from you if you own your own private keys. So Wall Street wants to get involved because they can make a lot of money off of the management fees, right? They could custody, it's called custody of your Bitcoin. So everybody is really pushing for this ETF. And yes, that would bring in more money to the space. That would allow larger institutional investors to gain access, and sovereign wealth funds, family offices, that's true. But for me, I think if I were to buy a Bitcoin spot ETF, it would violate the one value proposition of Bitcoin. Like, why would I buy Bitcoin and then have it be held by a financial institution in an ETF where I'm paying the management fees? I'd rather just self-custody it, because essentially it's a put option on the world. If things go crazy, you could at least have some wealth that you can move across the world for essentially zero cost with no permissions. That's the value proposition for me, right? And we've actually seen this play out. I mean, think about how crazy things were during the pandemic with our friends in Canada, right? People were, protesting in the streets, and the government said, hey, if you continue this protest, we are going to shut you down. Canada unbanked its citizens. Now, the Canadian government is apologizing for that. There's actually been some local politicians in Canada that have started to walk back all the craziness and say, hey, look, we were wrong about the big C, and we shouldn't have been that harsh, and we apologize. But at the time, people that were just protesting, the truckers, they were unbanked. They were totally cut off from the financial world. Had you had, 5% of your wealth in Bitcoin, you could at least make some moves, right? Send money to family overseas. It's permissionless money. And I think that value proposition for me is why I will always hold an allocation. Not because I want it to go to $1 trillion, but I feel good sleeping at night knowing that I own a piece of a financial system that is outside the crazy financial system that we operate in, right? So I don't know, that's sort of my take on it. So I'm not going to say I don't care if a Bitcoin ETF is ever approved, but I don't think it'll ever impact me personally, because I would never buy one, but that's just me. All right, so now we are inside the gorgeous Grand Central Terminal, which is, does it feel kind of empty in here? I feel like usually on Sunday nights, this is very busy with people coming back into the city. Oh, but you know what? It's the week of Thanksgiving, so everybody's probably working remote this week. Usually, Grand Central Station is packed on a Sunday night. Everybody coming in from upstate New York and everywhere, so. Matthew says, I remember being at the trucker rallies happening here in Ontario. Just outside of Ontario. It was quite a scene. Wow, so you were there on the ground floor. Tommy G's 3-day work week. Let's go. Now, I'm going to write a thesis on this. If you want to read that, it's coming up here pretty soon. I'm actually going to have, well, I'll leave the guest as a surprise as it relates on our topic on Bitcoin. But in a few weeks here, I'm going to be doing a full newsletter discussing the cryptocurrency ecosystem and environment with a very prominent analyst in the cryptocurrency space. And I think you guys will like it. And that'll be in our edition of the Behind the Street newsletter that we send out every other Thursday after the market closes. So if you want to be caught up on the financial markets, if you scan the QR code on your screen, or if you type !news, you will be signed up to receive our free financial newsletter where we cover US equities, global capital markets, fixed income, and real estate. But sometimes we cover the cryptocurrency world as well. So feel free to click the link where it says walkswallstreet.substack. And you could also read an entire archive of all of our research that we've ever put out. That is live up there on the site. Hey, Abdul is here. What's up? Good to see you. Now, right in here is a really nice bar. It's called the Campbell Bar, which actually used to be an office, by the way. Let's check out some of the train departures. Hey, Dr. Longus, what's up, dude? It's always a pleasure to see you. Someone says, is the Oyster Bar still in Grand Central? It is. I believe it closed down for a very short while, but now it's back open. So for all of those non-New Yorkers here, this is essentially a map of the tri-state area. So we are right here on the island of Manhattan. I am from here, right there, Massapequa, New York. So in terms of geography, the New York metropolitan area is a big place, right? And New York City is a big place. You have Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Staten Island. And these are all the train lines that'll take you to Long Island, as well as upstate New York. Oh, Joey, is that right? You're on the New Haven line? So I've taken, what line is this? The Hudson River line. Hey, Hudson River line, Billy Joel. To Ossining. This is where I go sometimes. Ossining? I don't know how to pronounce it, but I just realized that was the Hudson River line. Jen Claus says, where's Hell's Kitchen? Not too close to here. On the west side in the 50s. This place is good. They have good black and white cookies. Zorro's. Let's see if they have any. Anybody have a black and white cookie from this place before? They're amazing. Hey, Major Mims is Tom's favorite diner is the Massapequa Diner. You can see the photo of it up there. Yeah, if you go to the Massapequa Diner, which is going to be right across the street from the Massapequa train station, my go-to is the Capone omelet. And they named it after Al Capone because he would go there late at night, get an omelet and drink coffee and sort of run his operation. We won't go into too much detail what his operation was, but yeah, he would run his operation out of the Massapequa shores. But yeah, great diner. Massapequa's a great place. Look at these chandeliers. You guys got to take a trip out to Long Island sometime, particularly in the summer. It's a great place. You can go to Jones's Beach, Robert Moses State Park. There's a lot of things to do, and it's really beautiful out there. Go to All American, which is another really good place. Oh, DJ Chris says, what would you rate Sequa Deli? Sequa is very good. You know, there's also another place that's like a good butcher shop. I'm trying to think of what it is. Man, how can I forget the name? Oh my gosh, this is gonna kill me. There's an amazing butcher that's... It'll come to me, I just gotta give it a minute. It's in Massapequa. What is it? I may have to look it up. Well, yeah, I don't know why I can't remember the name. All right, let's exit here. Uncle Giuseppe's, no, it's not that. That's good though. There's one in Melville. So my old office was in Melville, New York. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with that, but yeah, so right off of North Service Road by the JP Morgan headquarters, it's weird. It's the JP Morgan headquarters, but we also had an office in that building. There was an Uncle Giuseppe's close there off of the North Service Road. And that's actually where my favorite pizza place of all time is, by the way. That is my favorite pizza place of all time. If you want to write it down, it's called La Focaccia. It's in Melville. That place is unbelievable. It's better than any place in the city. It's even better than DeFara. Serious. Right there by my old office in Melville. Look it up, it's amazing. And go get a grandma slice if you're there. I used to go there all the time. La Focaccia, fantastic. I know, T-Cow. We're actually not too far away from the Dollar Slice place. Oh, wow, Vinny says I worked on Hub Drive in Melville. Okay. Yeah, we had, let's just exit here. We had our Long Island office, obviously in Melville, and then the city office was 1166 Avenue of the Americas, which is in the Marsh McLennan building. And we also had we talked about quantitative hedge funds tonight. I was in the D.E. Shaw. I was two floors under D.E. Shaw, where I was. All right, everybody, but guess what? I thought it was a good stream. We covered a lot. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams every single day starting at 8:30 We also send out a free financial newsletter every other Thursday for all of our Walks on Wall Street subscribers. That includes all of my research for free, covering the US equity market, global capital markets, fixed income, and I also take you behind the scenes on the crazy world of luxury real estate in New York City. So if you want to sign up for that, just scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, or type !news, NEWS in the chat, and the Nightbot will drop the link to our Substack, and be expecting that on Friday, because this Thursday is Thanksgiving. So guys, we'll regroup here tomorrow on Monday, and I wish you a very happy, healthy, and safe Thanksgiving week, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So Andy, I appreciate it. Teresa Diaz, the other Teresa Diaz, Colton Manning, Laytha, Andy, Estelle, Joey Coffee, appreciate it. Unij23, Gary Carpenter, Kathy, and just as a quick reminder, guys, it's kind of cool. Joey Coffee does own a coffee company based here in New York. He roasts his own beans here in New York called Cafe Ame. He's sent me things before, which is very good. So check it out. I think it'll be a good gift for a stocking stuffer. Go check him out. !coffee in the chat. It'll drop the link to his website. Guys, I gotta run. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless, and God bless the United States of America. Thanks.